it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media here in Rotterdam at Breakbulk Europe. And I am joined in the studio by Andy Tite, who is Vice President of DHL Industrial Projects. So great to see you again, Andy.
Likewise, Leslie. So thank you for having me back.
Where's the dog?
No dog this year. No dog, no Formula One car. We went for a flight simulator instead.
Oh, you did?
And we have a robot barista. So if you want a coffee, then come along and see some technology.
Okay, I like that. Changing it up.
Well, yeah, always got to try and innovate and got to try and draw people in some way. So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's great. We will come by your stand for sure. Tell me about your impressions of Breakbulk Europe thus far.
Last year was fantastic. I think getting everyone back and how busy it was really good. This year, I'd say it's even better in terms of the organisation. Obviously, being at this event again, in terms of the venue, the whole way in which it flows is really nice. And I don't think there's an empty booth. So yeah, it's that tells the story. So no, it's very good.
I think so. All right, now you just did a panel today on business and market outlook. You were the lone freight forwarder.
I was.
Yes, you were, with carriers. So tell us some of the key points, the key takeaways from that session.
So it was a great panel. The other panelists were superb as well. So there was representation from the Drury Index, from the Ro-Ro vessel side of things, and of course multi-purpose vessels. The key takeaway from my perspective was we don't quite know what the future holds, but who does? From a Ro-Ro perspective, those guys are seeing real peaks at the moment. And for the multi-purpose tonnage, what we see is that there's going to be more cargo coming online, more volume coming forward, which is really positive. And the challenge is going to be how the market and how the fleet as a whole can react to that, because the fleet is aging. There's restrictions from a sustainability perspective, and there's other challenges that Kyriakos spoke about in terms of sanctions and pressures. So what we want from a freight forwarding and on behalf of our clients is stability. And I think the carriers want the same thing. The disconnect will be at what level is stability achieved from a price perspective. And that's where there's always going to be a disconnect from those supplying and those buying.
Absolutely. So what was there consensus on the panel where prices will be, say, in a year from now?
It was a little bit of conflict. I think Drury were predicting that there would be a decrease. I think we're at a lower level, obviously, from the pandemic times where there was a massive amount of volume. What we see just purely from a demand versus supply perspective is that probably within 2024, when, we're not sure, but within 2024 and beyond, the amount of inquiries, the amount of projects and volume that will come into the market indicates to us that prices will be sustained, if not increasing.
Really?
So that's the feeling. What we talk about with our clients is no one could account for the record prices that we had over the last couple of years, and it came from something that you couldn't predict. But we can work through this as a collective and through the supply chain. So we know it's a difficult topic, but we would encourage cargo owners, shippers, vendors, suppliers to anticipate that where we are today is certainly where it will be, and there is a chance that there'll be an increase as well. So with that in mind, obviously try and set those budgets at the right level, which again is what is that
level?
Hard
to say.
Yeah,
Right. But within a format that works for both sides, right?
Yeah. And flexibility, that's the main thing, Leslie. We speak with our carriers. We've got, I would say, a market-leading chartering team that are connected to all of the carriers. And the feedback from the carriers on the panel and also from our side is we can be flexible. If there's at least a commitment on tonnage, on volume that will be coming forward, then let's talk about it. Even if things change because it's projects and something always changes. There's no reason why we can't have an agreement on moving an amount of cargo during a window. And at least that takes away some of the uncertainties. And from a commercial perspective as well, indexation is something that's difficult when it comes to project cargo. It's not as transactional as obviously container freight. But there are things that we can do to mitigate that cost impact if there's a rising or a falling market.
Excellent, excellent. I don't know that I've heard anyone talk about, a certain amount of tonnage within a certain amount of time and making that commitment.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Well, we're trying to do things differently because we know the pressures from our clients, which is you may have a project, you know the sort of freight tons that will be involved in it, but the clients don't want to be held against the reliability of that information. But we're not going to do that. So it's okay if you've got a project and it's 120,000 freight tons perhaps, and you've got a window, a timeline where that may take place, then why not commit to 60, 70,000 freight tons of that with a carrier and with a freight forwarder, of course, from my perspective.
We're not going to leave you out.
No, speak to us. And then we can work with you to at least secure part of that volume and give that assurance.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think you've given us a lot to think about. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Leslie.
All right.
See you again soon, hopefully.
Excellent.